Okay. Well, this is a sad occasion. The last opportunity to play Battleborn before it's killed forever. Figured I might as well live stream some. Probably not too much, but just to get it out there and have it archived for future generations. I'm sure other people will do that, but yeah, I want to get some of my own gameplay up there. So I'm just going to play some private bot matches because I'm guessing there's no real chance of finding an actual match. Even if there are some people playing Battleborn at the moment, because everyone knows it's their last chance, I don't think I'm going to get into an actual game. Particularly not a game on this side of the planet. So yeah. Let's just go private bot match. I'll start with the Meltdown map. To be a quicker sort of game, usually. Who will I play as? Well, I might as well play as Khalees for this match at least. My favourite character in the game for several reasons. One is a doddering old man. And also it's just a pretty effective character. That's him. He sits down for the entire course of the battle, which I also appreciate. You don't want to be expending too much energy.
Meltdown. Earn points by guiding your minions to designated incinerators and destroy enemy minions before they reach their own. The bigger the minion,
The
the more
display
points
isn't quite working right, is it?
The first team to reach the score limit will trigger the finale and gain an advantage based on the size
640
of
by
their
480, I don't think so.
Ready yourselves for glory in
Okay,
3,
better.
2, 1.
And I'm going to sneeze.
Go. Our minions are moving toward the objective.
Maybe I really am allergic to live streaming.
I hate this
I always seem to start sneezing as soon as I go live. Excuse the sniffing if you can hear that. So in this mode, you basically guide your minions down 2 lanes towards these things here. Like, I don't know, smelters or furnaces, and they melt down in there, which supposedly gains you favour with some god, and whoever gets more favour by the end of the match, or a certain amount in a certain amount of time, wins. Hey Joe Retro, good to see you, glad you could join this particular stream. The farewell to Battleborn. I'm gonna die. The AI bots in this game are kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes they're really effective, sometimes they completely disappear from the battlefield altogether. So yeah, as Cleese, I have my main wrist cannon thingy. And a secondary sort of laser fire. A lot of people did not think this game was very good. I'm one of the few who thought it was amazing. And one of the few who's incredibly disappointed that it's never going to be playable again in a few hours. Story of my avatar, what the old man picture. It's a portrait by Rembrandt. I found it on Google when I searched for doddering old man. I do like Rembrandt. He's very good at painting old men. To be honest, I barely remember how to play this game, but yeah, because Cleese's abilities, he has a shield generator that he can drop that generates shields for allies, which is incredibly useful in most game modes anyway. Yeah, it's pretty profound, isn't it? I can make something up about how it's my great-great-grandfather who bequeathed to me, or bequeathed to his son, an artifact of great power, which eventually came to be passed down to me, and I'm now a superhero. So yeah, there's an example of the enemy AI. It seems to be stuck there. It can still shoot though. Yeah, I quite like the expression on the guy's face. I thought it suited me. Sort of world-weary, careworn.
Not as easy as you thought, eh?
Yeah, you've been enjoying Keeping Up Appearances? It's interesting, I mean, it's a good show. Not sure I would have said it gets better as an adult. I mean, it's not the most sophisticated comedy on the planet. But yeah, I love Onslow. Onslow is very much my spirit animal, to coin a phrase.
Hostile approaching. Behold the vengeance of the elderly. No coming back from that.
And so as you level up, you get augments to your skills. There's only a couple of options for each level. Basically choosing what you want to focus on. Some of them more useful than others. Yeah, I guess there are some adult jokes in there, are there? Like Rose, she's pretty up for it, as it were. Oh damn, I picked the wrong option. I picked the option that changes your primary fire into a charge beam, which I don't really like. I meant to change the secondary.
More of them on the way.
It's about to get real chilly.
That guy unfortunately can shred your health pretty quick. And of course, why is the AI quite good at aiming with him? Yes, if Hyacinth makes an adult joke, it's usually unintentional. See, I keep forgetting I have a charge weapon now. I have to hold it down and release. Well, we're losing quite badly.
In need of some energy, eh?
It's a pity I don't have real people to play with, because in a real match, with people who actually group up and know where to go, Khalees becomes one of the best characters in the game with his shield generator, just restoring your allies' shields. But all my teammates seem to be hanging around the base for some reason.
Heavens! How many of them are there?
What do I do for work? What an excellent question. I'm what the British would call unemployable doll scum. Actually, Australians would probably call me that too.
What the hell?
I'll get a job one day, I promise.
Through compromise?
As soon as someone finds a skill I actually have.
Attention! You're about to be killed!
That's why I need to become a YouTube millionaire. And to get an income. Maybe then I'll set up the kangaroo farm.
Enemy appeasement at 50%. Enemy minion altars relocating.
Yeah, that'll do. I'm a great dude. Thanks. Still an unemployable one though. Oh yeah, items in this game are not great. The itemization in this game is one of the worst things about it. One of the things that makes it not a good MOBA.
There's one! Just a minute!
You just pick a load out of 3 items to take with you and then spend currency you get in-game to activate them. And to get those items in the first place, you have to do the campaign mode, which sucks. But yep, definitely a convict zone, this one. Alright, sorry Joe, yeah I know that my live stream times lately have not been particularly amenable to people in your geographical location, but hopefully I'll get a bit more organised with it sometime soon. And good to see you anyway, and yeah, have a nice night.
Foxtrot's got a hell of a trick to show you.
I really feel I've gimped myself by accidentally choosing the wrong quote-unquote upgrade. Dayton, I've heard of Dayton. That's in Ohio, obviously. Dayton, Ohio, yeah. Man, we're really losing this match. At least I've done far more damage than my bot allies. I've considered setting up a Patreon, and thanks, I appreciate it, but my question is this: are you a multi-millionaire?
Incoming enemy!
Because, you know, if you are, I'll happily accept donations. But if you're not, then probably best you keep your money for yourself. Damn.
Hey guys, check this out. Walk around this, why don't you?
Really?
Giant
I
minions deployed.
don't think I've heard anything about Dayton. Except for knowing it's in Ohio. Hard to aim this damn weapon. His secondary weapon is better, but you need to get close.
Totally asking for it.
We've spawned a giant minion. See it safely to our altar.
And the enemy's being so
Our enemies
aggressive.
have spawned a giant
You're
minion.
right in my base.
Stop it.
Kill on! Alright, fellas.
Okay, so you're just Dayton adjacent, not actually in Dayton. How big is Dayton?
Incoming, something. Probably an enemy. Not terribly so.
And it's different to Daytona, right? Where the racetrack is. That's in Florida, isn't it? Damn, Montana.
Dad, when you're a little less dead. Watch this, everybody.
Hey, I've watched The Wire. I'm sure it's not as bad as Baltimore.
Where that came from.
The Wire is actually my favorite TV show of all time. I think when we were talking about TV shows a while back, I've completely forgot to mention The Wire,
Shepherd it to our altar.
even though it is easily the best TV show ever
Falling
created,
behind.
in my opinion.
Sacrifice minions or Minrek will surely kill us all.
Yeah, but the American definition of a decent-sized city is pretty different to the Australian one, I think.
Hostile giant minion en route to the enemy altar.
Believe me, you're better off.
Man, this is not going well.
Fire in the hole! I am some kind of magic frost fighter.
The enemy has deployed a giant
I'm your
minion.
freaking
Destroy it.
Stand up, fun.
What's that, imaginary kitty? Yes, they are.
Hostile giant minion en route to the enemy altar.
You're not going to sleep. You give up quick. Surely you need your rest.
Giant minion moving out. Bring it to Minrek.
Sorry if I kept you awake by talking about Dayton.
No escape!
Ah, this should do the trick.
Gonna die.
It's about to get real chilly.
Yeah, okay. Elijah, is that how it's pronounced?
Man, back down
That just came out, right?
We are halfway there. Our minion altar
Oh,
has been
God.
relocated. Giant minion
Well, the enemy
deployed.
just reached the
Shepherd
score
it to
cap.
our altar. Score limit reached. The finale is about to begin.
So I've never actually been on the
enemy
losing
team
end
has earned a moderate advantage.
of one of these, because they changed this game mode at some point after I stopped playing.
Ultra minions have spawned.
And now instead of losing immediately, the enemy gets a super minion that they need to get to the end, and then they win. Now I don't know how hard it is to stop. I imagine pretty hard. But yeah, it's is it a platformer?
Health makes wealth.
I think I've just seen a bit of art for it.
Cosmic
Okay, ancient Chinese I'm quite fond of as an aesthetic. Yeah, okay, we lost. I don't know how we managed to lose, but hey. Yeah, okay, I thought I'd heard the word Metroidvania associated with it. That's cool, I like Metroidvanias. I'll keep my eye out for it then. It seems like there's a hell of a lot of sort of retro-styled Metroidvanias these days. I was a huge fan of Ori and the what was the first one? Something Forest? Blind Forest? You hate Metroidvanias? Oh man. Oh, we're different. Don't soft sell the Metroidvania element. Where should you visit if you travel to Australia? You see, the thing about me is I'm like most Australians in that I've barely travelled around Australia. I don't know it very well. And the only bits I do know are the East Coast and the main cities, you know, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. It depends what you like. I mean, we've got a big variety of environments. If you like beaches, then yeah, we got that. Watch out for the jellyfish though. I've got all sorts of different types of forest. We have more desert than you can shake a stick at. The only thing we don't really have is alpine regions. The thing about being an American and coming to Australia is that I really don't think there's anything in our country that you won't find over there, apart from a bunch of different weird animals. I mean, we got excellent beaches, but probably not anything too different to what you got. But honestly, the area where I am, sort of halfway between Brisbane and Sydney on the coast, is renowned for having the country's most stable climate, and our beaches are pretty nice here. And we're not quite far enough north that you really have to worry about incredibly dangerous jellyfish. It's just the shark attacks here. We do have a giant red rock. I've never been. It's out in the middle somewhere. Okay, let's switch to incursion mode. Do the Aussie ladies dislike Americans? No. No, I think as a whole we tend to find Americans quite charming, as long as they're not too loud and pushy. But I think an American accent does pretty well with the ladies. And who am I going to play in one of my last ever Battleborn matches? I might go with Benedict. I have a certain affinity for Benedict. I don't actually really know many Americans in real life, it occurs to me. All I know are Canadians who, do they count as Americans? North Americans. Yeah, have you travelled much, Joe? I haven't, obviously. I'd love to travel around Asia. It's obviously a bit more convenient for Australians, but
Incursion.
as such a naive, sheltered person, I think I'd struggle in a country where you can't, where they don't speak
Escort
great
minions
English.
to enemy sentries to strip away their shields and leave them vulnerable to attack. Destroy the enemy.
Oh, you've never left the
sentry
States?
to
Okay,
achieve
yeah.
victory.
I've never left Australia.
The match begins in 3, 2, 1.
But Australia, I have to think, would be a pretty comfortable travel destination for anyone who speaks English.
Prepare for
I mean, not that travel's all that easy at this precise moment. Mexico, yeah, that's convenient. Close at hand. Although, I mean, Canada would be closer to you in Ohio, I think. Yeah, there are definitely countries on this planet that seem a bit too dangerous.
Mechanical breakfast is served.
Of course, I gotta say, from an outsider's perspective, America seems like one of the most dangerous places you could go at the moment, too.
Grow yourself some swagger, bud. Yeah, I'm on. Ah!
Not a fan of Canada?
Help our minions destroy an enemy sentry. Unattended minions make easy targets.
They have really nice
Watch out.
mountains. But so does America.
Rocket to the face, y'all!
Well, Canada's part of the Commonwealth, so if you do ever go to war with Canada, I might end up fighting against you. I'm sure that's true, Joe. It's just a matter of perception, isn't it?
Thrall mercenaries spotted on the battlefield.
My sister did a tour of America and Mexico. That was some decades ago, though. And she absolutely loved it.
Our enemies are attacking.
Said the Americans were incredibly friendly, which gels with what I know.
Work on those stealth
Our
guys.
foes have moved on a Thrall mercenary camp.
Oh man. I feel I need to defend Canada.
Hostile Thrall mercenaries on the move.
Cap Skull closing in! Get the pop! What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, you're dead.
The unstoppable! The unbelievable! Hail Senegal! Moving in!
God save the Queen. I'm not quite old enough to remember when God Save the Queen was actually the Australian national anthem.
Tried my best on that guy's tombstone. Ain't crappy fun. With glitter and
And to be fair, our national anthem is almost worse. It ranks up there with the world's most boring.
Hostiles at our sentry. Allies are engaged with Thrall mercenaries.
Yeah, I suspect even Mexico is a diverse land
Outcast
with many
Thralls
different,
detected.
you know, pluses and minuses.
Allies are attacking a Thrall mercenary camp.
I can't just no, seriously, stop it.
She is on our money, it's true. How do you know that about Australian
Have
currency?
engaged with Thrall mercenaries. An ally hired some Thrall mercenaries.
I need to remember to actually upgrade.
Our foes have moved on a Thrall mercenary camp. Hostile Thrall mercenaries inbound. Mercenaries are available.
I get what you mean, Joe, but I honestly think that people who actually worship royalty are quite rare. I think people just like having them around. They're like a familiar old antique sitting in the corner. Doesn't necessarily do anything, but it's just reassuring to know it's there. That's pretty heavy.
Spotted a hostile! It was over before you got here, man!
And to be fair, I think the Queen of England has been pretty active in the public world.
Outcast Thralls.
I mean, it's true she doesn't actually converse with people much, but she's shaken a lot of hands. Or at least curtsied to a lot of people.
Hey, see them boat straps? Grab them and pull!
Yeah, and I think that's true as well. That there's almost more of a culture of royal worship in America. They sort of latched onto the celebrity aspect of royalty. Yes, groomer of the stool. No, not groomer of the stool. Groom of the stool. Wasn't it? The attendant responsible for
You got kill me written all
maintaining the royal chamber pot and assisting with the royal defecation. Quite a prestigious position.
Allies are engaged with Thrall mercenaries.
Nova, give me an evac.
I don't think even Americans, though, would argue that the British royals should have more power.
Allies are attacking a Thrall mercenary camp.
Tell the whole thing, man. Just run.
Thrall mercenaries deployed. Sentry under fire.
Watch the step, hostile! Throw yourself some swagger, bud!
Hired muscle at this location.
Got my eye on you! Hear that?
Enemies are attacking a mercenary camp. Power play. Only 2 hostiles remain. Only 1 hostile remains. You should kill them too. Our enemies are attacking a mercenary camp. Contract signed. Thrall mercenaries moving out.
Well, that's it. It is Kardashian level drama. It's basically all the royal families to most people these days. Slightly classier, I think, but it's roughly the same thing, yeah. And yes, the British royal family are more German than British.
Closing in.
On grid deployed! A month's pay says I feel...
I keep forgetting that Benedict can glide. It's actually a relatively useful skill.
Hey, see them boat straps? Grab them and pull! Yeah!
Thrall mercenaries spotted on the battlefield.
Look, children.
Allies have engaged a
Okay.
Thrall mercenary camp.
Catch you around, Joe. And thanks for stopping by. What games are up next? Well, I'm definitely going to do one on Battleborn. It's coming in the next day, hopefully.
Enemies are attacking a mercenary
It won't be a particularly long or in-depth video, but just a farewell to it, really. I might do a review of the medium,
Allies are
since I
engaged with Thrall
played
mercenaries.
through it all the way recently, and
Thrall mercenaries contracted by the enemy.
I have thoughts about it.
It's another gun!
I also want to do a video about why I did not manage to get through Dragon Quest XI.
Friendly
And there's
Thralls
still like a
on the
billion
field.
Mega Drive games I want to do. I've actually been playing Fantasia. Fantasia, yeah, was one of the less successful Mega Drive Disney games. That's a game I remember being particularly bad, so I actually want to do a video on a bad game for once. Maybe that'll get more of an audience. Almost a year ago, yeah, yeah, it's been, I don't know, like 10 months I think since I did advertising.
Oh, y'all gonna pay for that!
Don't worry, we'll make them
So yeah, thanks for subscribing by the way.
Mercenaries are available. Power play. Enemy forces at 40% strength. Enemies have engaged a mercenary camp. Only one hostile remains. You should kill them too. Minions have
Yeah, I think it was actually right at the start of April.
Enemies are attacking a mercenary camp.
Or I don't know, it was when, was this after I did the review on, Final Fantasy VII Remake, so it was whenever that came out.
I warned you. I warned all of you.
Hostile sentry destroyed. Enemies have engaged a mercenary camp.
Hey, see them boat straps? Grab them and pull!
Stand by for mind-shattering pain that will scarcely be able to
Hostile Thrall mercenaries closing in.
Unfortunately, this game suffers a fair bit from lag. Like, the actual movement suffers if you're lagging. And for whatever reason, even in bot matches you lag, or I do in Australia. I don't know where it's connecting to, but it's not around here.
Bird of...
The end begins now!
Dreamcast. I love the Dreamcast. I owned one
An ally
back in the
added
day.
to
I think
Thrall
it's possibly one of the most underrated consoles ever created. I mean, I don't really play it that much these days because
Outcast Thralls
I still have my Dreamcast, but it's, I don't know where it is. It's in the box in the back of the wardrobe somewhere. And I have tried emulating it. Don't tell the police.
We've
But
engaged a Thrall mercenary camp.
and it works. Okay. But actually, most of the games that I really enjoyed on Dreamcast are either available elsewhere, or there are
Allies
improved
have engaged a
sequels.
Thrall mercenary camp.
Like, my absolute favourite Dreamcast game and one of my favourite games of all time was Soul Calibur. I don't really feel the need to go back and play the first one.
Hostiles remain.
Yeah, does it?
Only one hostile remains. Press the advantage. Contract signed.
I'll consider it.
Mercenaries moving out.
I would definitely like to do a video sometime of,
There's one.
well, the Echo the Dolphin game that was on Dreamcast, so that was on PlayStation 2 as well, I think. Yeah, it was.
Power play. Only 2 hostiles remain.
And I did try to get that up and running with emulation, and it seemed to work. It didn't work when I first tried, but when I tried more recently, it actually seemed definitely playable.
Howdy, Captain.
The only thing stopping me making a video on that Echo the Dolphin is that I found it brutally difficult. And I'm not sure playing through it is going to be a particularly light and breezy experience. Even if I have save states on emulation. But yeah, I still have my Dreamcast games on the shelf just behind me. I can't actually see them at the moment, but I don't have a huge collection.
At this location. Our foes have moved on a Thrall mercenary camp.
Mostly what I loved about the Dreamcast was the wide array of tournament fighters, or 2D fighters specifically, and the vertically scrolling shooters. It had a bunch of really good arcade conversions of scrolling shooters that you just didn't get in Australia otherwise.
Thrall mercenaries coming this way.
Yeah, man, I've actually been thinking about, it's called Jet Set Radio in this country, but yeah.
Gun circuit.
Yeah. Ikaruga I talked about briefly in my Gunstar Heroes video, because of course it's made by Treasure. And Marvel vs. Capcom, I think I briefly talked about that as a series. I really wanted to like Marvel vs. Capcom, but it's just a bit chaotic for me. I prefer slightly slower paced fighters.
A sentry is under attack.
Behold, the majesty of the sun!
Better try getting jammed.
Oops.
Thrall
Excuse me.
mercenaries spotted on the battlefield. We've engaged a Thrall mercenary.
My favourite 2D fighter on the Dreamcast was probably Capcom vs. SNK 2.
Allies are
It was a pretty epic game, had a lot of characters.
Sentry under fire. Allies have engaged a Thrall mercenary camp. An ally hired some Thrall mercenaries. A sentry is under fire. Enemies have engaged with Thrall mercenaries.
My shield!
This will hurt!
Thrall mercenaries contracted by the enemy.
Yes, I appreciated that fact also.
You like that one? Hell yes, you love that one.
I had a friend who supplied me with all manner of games of dubious legitimacy, which I probably shouldn't admit on a recorded format, but I can't imagine the police will be beating a path to my door. Especially useful since many Dreamcast games never got a release in Australia.
Power play. Enemy forces at half strength.
Oh!
Power play. Enemy forces at 40% strength.
Stand by for the most hilarious tragedy I've seen all afternoon. Butterscotch.
Yeah, $2. Not a bad deal.
Power play. Enemy forces at 40% strength. Only one hostile remains. Press the advantage.
It was possible to find cheap Dreamcast games, but only a limited range and you had to look for them.
Outcast thralls available for hire.
What's that, Rockets? Yes, they are about to die. What's wrong? What's hungry?
Allies are engaged with thrall mercenaries.
Yeah.
Allies have engaged a thrall mercenary camp.
The dragon's got you now!
Power play. Enemy forces at 40% strength.
Yeah, I mean obviously it sucks to
Our
not get
enemies are attacking
many
mercenaries.
releases, but it's not so much a problem now, and when it was a problem I was a kid and I didn't really know any better. Like if I'd known what I was missing by never getting to play a Final Fantasy game on the Super Nintendo, I might have been really disappointed, but I had no idea.
Enemies are attacking a mercenary camp.
Got gold coming our way. Where you going? I said, where you going? Both barrels blazing.
And you know, one way or another, I got to play all those games eventually.
Hostile thrall mercenaries inbound.
Hey, tough guy! It's you and me!
Power play. Enemy forces at 40% strength.
Oh, sniped out of the air, well done.
Assistance.
Attention all morons!
Only
Please
one
step on
hostile
these at your
remains.
earliest
Press the
convenience.
advantage.
such easy targets.
Looks like this match is going to go to the time limit, which is half an hour. They usually do in bot matches because the bots are just too evenly matched, and even having a human player on one team is not always enough to make a difference, particularly when the players meet. Respawn times get really, really long.
Howdy, Benedict.
Power play. Enemy forces at half strength.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Thrall mercenaries spotted on the battlefield.
Oh, you're dead.
Bird strike!
Really rather not die at this point and take almost the rest of the match to respawn.
Our foes have moved on a Thrall mercenary camp.
At this time, I will read a poem entitled, Your Guts Everywhere.
Enemies have engaged with Thrall mercenaries. Thrall mercenaries contracted by the enemy. Allies are engaged with Thrall mercenaries. Friendly Thralls on the field. Power play. Enemy forces at half strength.
I rule these friggin' skies. Where you going? I said, where you going? You're about to get hit by the
Only one hostile remains. You should kill them too.
Well, at least that guy died.
Someone mapping these? Nah, we don't need to map them.
Yeah, I got that impression. Sorry, you're from Texas, I think you said? I know I've talked to you about Texas before, haven't I?
Bear guts! Damn these arms! Maybe there's one at home that needs fighting.
Where are you from? Was it Houston?
Successful.
Yeah, I can't remember. I shouldn't be keeping you up anyway. So yeah, sleep well, and thanks for stopping by.
Power play.
I won't be
Enemy
streaming for
forces
too much
at
longer.
half
I just
strength.
wanted to get in a little bit of Battleborn before it shuts down forever. Okay, Dallas. And you would be one of them Texas cities that I've heard of.
Power play. Enemy forces at half strength. Only
Yeah,
one
this match is a
hostile
minute
remains.
from done.
Press the advantage.
Come now, my dear. Do try to keep up. You got kill me.
Yeah, there's some definite similarities.
Remember, minions can disable enemy sentry shields.
I think climate-wise, my particular part of the country is Pretty much a carbon copy of California. Maybe we can actually kill the sentry before the game ends? No, it's not going to happen. But yeah, there's a lot of Texas-like parts of Australia, I imagine. Well, oh, okay, that's handy. Okay, you can't actually see that on the stream, but I just got a huge fatal error message. Maybe the game just shut down at that precise moment, but yeah, Texas is vast enough to have a pretty decent array, isn't it, of landscapes. Oh no, okay, the game still technically works. Looks like it's still online, it just crashed randomly. I think. Let's see if I'm able to sign in. Now that avatar, my Steam avatar, that's David Mitchell, my favourite British comedian.
Welcome back.
Okay, yeah, it still works. Oh, I got to level 101. Hooray. Okay, well, that'll do. Like I say, all I wanted to do is just play a little more Battleborn and get it up online where it can be viewed for a million years to come. Possibly. Yeah, okay. Stream ends about now, I guess. I'll catch you guys later if you're still here, Super Duty, and anyone else who happens to be watching this at any point. Catch you around.